What is the American dream? Thomas Jefferson famously stated in the United States Declaration of Independence that all men are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The American dream can have different meanings to different people, but perhaps a general definition of the phrase could be that pursuit and eventual attainment of happiness. Of course, a follow-up question would be, how does one attain happiness? The 1999 film American Beauty, directed by Sam Mendes and written by Alan Ball, shows what may happen when someone attempts to fulfill the American dream. Sometimes, in the chaos and busyness of our lives, we lose sight of what is important and where the true beauty of the world lies. American Beauty features a wide array of characters, each with their own insecurities. What unites all these characters thematically is a feeling of being trapped, and in turn, a craving for freedom. Lester, as the protagonist, is the centerpiece of this story. His setup is very similar to George Bailey in the sense that, despite having a family, a house, a job, and being financially stable, he still wants more. This desire is why many people can relate to Lester even though he's honestly a pretty despicable person. As I said in my It's a Wonderful Life video, humans will always have an unlimited amount of wants. That trait is reflected in Lester. He, like many of us, has a yearning to live his life to the fullest. Nonetheless, as he has gotten older, he lost his passion for living. His boring desk job has drained his once youthful energy, and his family is growing further and further apart. We can empathize with that feeling of being stuck, that longing for a connection to passion, joy, and beauty, things he lost as he aged. However, Lester's life drastically changes after he sees his teenage daughter's friend, Angela, perform a cheer routine at a high school sporting event. Lester began to have fantasies about her covered in red rose petals. Red is a constant presence throughout American Beauty. Red in general has several symbolic connotations. It is symbolic of excitement, energy, passion, and sexuality. It can symbolize desire, power, and the excitement of falling in love. In American Beauty, red often occurs in the form of roses. We see very early on that Carolyn is obsessed with perfecting her rose garden, which immediately creates a relationship between desire and red roses. Red roses later become symbolic of Lester's own desires when he fantasizes about Angela. All his fantasies display a barrage of red roses, which gives his sexuality a symbolic embodiment. His thoughts about Angela, while morally wrong and inappropriate, are natural. As famous film critic Roger Ebert said in his review of the film, Lester's thoughts about Angela are impure but not perverted. He wants to do what men are programmed to do with the most beautiful woman he has ever seen. In other words, Angela for Lester is a red-blooded desire. She is the catalyst for his liberation. She gave his life purpose, a goal to strive towards accomplishing. Ebert later said that Lester's thoughts about her blast him free from years of emotional paralysis. Angela is what made Lester realize he does not have to be miserable. It is important to note that she is just a catalyst for his liberation, but not his true desire. What I think is often missed in this film is that a lot of the actions Lester takes after seeing Angela were not directly inspired by her. She said she would have sex with him if he built up his chest and arms, which leads to Lester exercising more often. Aside from exercising, though, all the actions Lester takes after meeting Angela were not directly inspired by her. He bought a bright red 1970 Pontiac Firebird, starts smoking marijuana, quit his dull job, and gets a new job at a fast food restaurant that, fittingly, has red heavily integrated into its interior design and employee uniforms. Lester feels really content with himself after implementing his new lifestyle. Nevertheless, these actions will not make him happier in the long run. As I said before, red has many symbolic meanings. In addition to desire, red can also symbolize a warning or danger. It stands for aggression, danger, violence, and war. Red is intense, and it steals attention away from other colors. It provokes emotion and calls to action or becomes a warning. During Lester's liberation, many of his actions are connected to Red, the fantasies about Angela, the new car he bought, and his new job. All these actions make Lester happy in the short term, but in the long term, this will not make him more satisfied with his life. Chasing after Angela causes further separation between Lester and his daughter. Quitting his job enrages his wife. His new job will eventually cause financial troubles for the whole family. As previously mentioned, even though Lester fantasizes about Angela, she is not really what he wants. At the end of the movie, when given the opportunity to fulfill his fantasy with a vulnerable Angela, he chooses not to engage because he realizes he would be taking advantage of, as the screenplay describes her, a nervous child. In the following scene, Lester grabs a blanket to cover her nakedness, makes her a sandwich, and asks her how his daughter Jane is doing in life. He is not behaving like a pervert. These are the actions of a caring parent. In this pivotal moment in Lester's life, he finally becomes what he needed to be all along, a caring father. Lester thought he wanted to have sex with Angela, but, as evidence from all the liberating actions he did after seeing her, it seems clear to me that what Lester really found attractive about Angela was her youth, her energy, her passion. Not sexual nor romantic passion, but rather a passion for life, something that has been missing in Lester's life for a long time. Angela isn't his actual goal. She is just the knock on the door that reminds him that he needs to get back in touch with his spiritual connection to living. A few minutes later, Lester picks up a photo of his family and stares at it with a big smile on his face. In this final moment of Lester's life, his family was not something holding him back, but was something worth celebrating. He realizes how lucky he is to have a family and that they are the most important thing to him. After he dies, we see him contemplate on the little moments and small joys of his life. He is so overcome by the beauty of life that he was not even upset that he died. He was just happy to have lived a life. Lester had a disgusting midlife crisis and is a huge failure as a dad, husband, and an adult. That is one of the points of the movie. He's not supposed to be your conventional movie hero. He is not a good guy you're supposed to look up to and admire. Nonetheless, many people will have days when they feel like Lester Burnham. There may be days when we feel bored, lonely, or purposeless. Some days one might think, I'm dead already. American Beauty offers a blueprint on how to overcome those feelings. Its blueprint is almost akin to Buddhism. Despite completely revamping his life, Lester was only able to find true happiness by appreciating a simple moment in his life. In the end, Lester didn't need to go on an epic odyssey, nor complete some grand project to be at peace with himself. It came as a result of just being content with his life as is, no major addition nor subtraction necessary. When I attained absolute, perfect enlightenment, I attained absolutely nothing. Lester hasn't escaped his circumstances, but he has found a way to own them, which is why he was able to affectionately review the simple moments of his life that now bring him great joy.